The High Exarch of the Krell Empire stood in a very large room. The walls were made of clear glass. Outside, he could see the bright stars of the galaxy. He looked at a map floating in the air in front of him. It was a holographic map. It showed a small corner of space called the Sol Sector. The High Exarch smiled. His sharp teeth showed. He tapped a finger on the map. The dot turned red dot to him and the rest of the Galaxy Council. The Sol Sector was just a place full of things they wanted. It had metals. It had gas. It had water. The people living there were called humans. The Council did not worry about humans. They thought humans were weak. The Council had watched the humans for 50 years. They saw that humans liked to trade. Humans liked to build farms. Humans liked to dig in the dirt for rocks. They did not have big war fleets. They did not have energy shields that glowed with power. They did not have honor duels in the street. When humans had a problem, they sat at a table and talked until the problem went away. Soft, the High Exarch thought. They are soft creatures. They are like fruit waiting to be picked. The door to the room opened. A general walked in. He wore gold armor. He bowed low to the Exarch. "We are ready," the general said. "The vote is finished. The Galaxy Council agrees with you. We will take the Sol Sector. Good," the Exarch said. "Send one ship. Just one ship?" the general asked. He looked surprised. "One is enough," the Exarch said. "Send the Eternal Glory. It is a destroyer-class ship. It has big cannons. If the humans see it, they will be scared. They will give us everything we want. We do not need to waste a whole fleet on farmers." The general nodded. He left the room to give the order. The High Exarch looked back at the red dot on the map. He thought this would be the easiest victory in the history of the Krell Empire. He was very wrong. Millions of miles away, there was a large rock floating in space. This rock was named Vesta Prime. It was a mining colony. The air outside was gone, so everyone lived under big domes made of metal and glass. Paul Vance was the governor of Vesta Prime. He was not a soldier. He was a man who liked paperwork and coffee. He was 50 years old. His hair was gray, and his face had lines from smiling too much. He wore a gray jumpsuit that had oil stains on the sleeve. Paul stood in the command center of the colony. It was not a fancy room. It had old computers and chairs that squeaked. He was holding a cup of coffee. It was morning on the station schedule. He took a sip and looked at the main screen. A young woman named Lisa was sitting at the radar station. She looked up. Her face was pale. "Governor," she said. "Something is coming. Is it a supply ship?" Paul asked. He did not look worried. "No," Lisa said. "It is too big. It is moving too fast. It is not human." Paul put his coffee cup down. "Show me," he said. The screen changed. It showed a picture from a long-range camera. A ship was coming toward them. It was beautiful and terrifying. It was shaped like a sharp knife. It was silver and gold. It glowed with blue light. It was 10 times bigger than any ship Paul had ever seen. It was the Eternal Glory. The room became very quiet. Everyone stopped working. They looked at the silver knife in the sky. "Open a channel," Paul said. His voice was steady. He did not shake. Lisa pressed a few buttons. "Audio channel open," she whispered. A face appeared on the big screen. It was a Krell. It had gray skin and 4 eyes. It looked angry. This was the captain of the Eternal Glory. "Attention, creatures of dirt," the Krell captain said. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. "I am Captain Vex of the Galaxy Council. Your colony now belongs to us." Paul walked closer to the screen. He put his hands in his pockets. He looked like he was talking to a neighbor about a broken fence. "Hello, Captain Vex," Paul said. "I am Governor Paul Vance. I think you have made a mistake. This is Vesta Prime. It belongs to the Earth Federation. We are just miners. We dig up iron. We do not want any trouble." "There is no mistake," Captain Vex said. "We want the iron. We want the station. We want the space around it. Surrender now. Turn off your power. Come out of your domes. If you do not, we will destroy you." Paul sighed. He looked tired. He looked around the room at his people. They were scared. Some were holding onto their desks. Paul looked back at the alien captain. "Captain," Paul said, "please listen to me. We do not fight. We trade. We build things. We have families down here. We have children. We just want to be left alone. Go away and let us work." The Krell captain laughed. It was a cold, cruel sound. "Weakness," he spat. You beg for peace because you cannot fight. I will teach you a lesson. The screen went black. Governor, Lisa shouted. They are charging weapons. Paul looked out the thick window of the tower. He could see the silver ship high above the gray surface of the asteroid. A purple light began to glow at the front of the alien ship. It grew brighter and brighter. Get everyone to the shelters, Paul said quietly. He did not run. He stood and watched. The beam of purple light shot down from the ship. It was silent in the vacuum of space, but when it hit the ground shook. The beam hit the main communications tower. This was the tower they used to talk to Earth. Metal melted like wax. The tower turned into orange liquid and fell over. The ground exploded. Dust and rock flew high into the air. The shockwave hit the command center. The glass rattled. The lights flickered and went out. Then the emergency red lights turned on. The attack lasted only 10 seconds. Then it stopped. The eternal glory stayed in the sky. It waited. The captain expected the humans to cry. He expected them to call him and beg for their lives. He expected them to surrender immediately. Down in the command center, Paul Vance climbed out from under a desk. He brushed dust off his gray jumpsuit. He picked up his coffee cup. It was broken. He looked at the pieces of ceramic on the floor. Is anyone hurt? Paul asked. No, Governor, a voice said from the dark. Just bumps and bruises. Good, Paul said. He walked over to the communication console. It was dead. The main antenna was gone. They could not talk to Earth. They could not ask for help. They were alone. Lisa was crying softly in the corner. Paul walked over to her. He put a hand on her shoulder. It is okay, Lisa, he said. They destroyed the tower, she sobbed. We can't call the Navy. We can't call anyone. They are going to kill us all. Paul looked out the window again. The alien ship was still there, shining in the sunlight. It looked proud. It looked like a bully who had just pushed a kid down on the playground. No, Paul said. They are not going to kill us all. Not today. He turned to the chief engineer. A big man named Mike. Mike, Paul said. Do we still have the short-range mining lasers? Mike nodded. Yes, Governor. But they are for cutting rocks. They are not weapons. They can only shoot a few miles. That ship is way up in orbit. I know, Paul said. And what about the heavy cargo drones? The ones we use to lift the big containers of ore? We have 50 of them, Mike said. But Governor, they are slow. They are just flying trucks. Paul nodded. He was thinking. His eyes were cold. He did not look like a nice man who liked paperwork anymore. Mike, Paul said. I want you to take the safety limits off the drone engines. I want you to load every drone with 5 tons of raw iron ore. Mike's eyes went wide. He understood. Governor, Mike said. If we do that, the engines will explode after a few minutes. They only need to fly for a few minutes. Paul said. Paul looked back at the red emergency lights. He spoke to everyone in the room. Listen to me, he said. His voice was low and hard. These aliens think we are weak. They think because we do not have warships, we will just roll over. They think we are scared. He looked at the screen where the alien face had been. They fired the first shot, Paul said. They broke our things. They threatened our families. We tried to be nice. We told them we just wanted to be left alone. He paused, but they didn't listen. Now we have to show them what happens when you interrupt a human while he is working. Mike ran to the engineering console. He started typing fast. Drones are loading, Mike said. Safety limits removed. They are ready to launch. Launch them, Paul said. All of them. Aim for the big purple light on their ship. Outside on the dusty surface of Vesta Prime, 50 bay doors opened. 50 heavy cargo drones flew out. They were not graceful. They were ugly, square boxes with big engines strapped to them. They were carrying heavy rocks. They flew up toward the silver ship. On the bridge of the eternal glory, Captain Vex laughed. Look, he said. They are sending supply trucks to us. They are bringing us tribute. They are surrendering. He watched the squares come closer on his screen. He did not raise his shields. Why would he need shields against trucks? Wait, the Krell navigator said. They are moving very fast. Vex leaned forward. The trucks were not slowing down. They were speeding up. Their engines were glowing white hot. They are on a collision course. The navigator shouted. Shoot them. Vex yelled. The alien ship fired its lasers. It destroyed 1 drone. Then 2, then 5. But there were 50 of them. And they were just chunks of solid iron and steel. You can melt a hole in a rock, but the rock keeps moving. The first drone hit the eternal glory. It smashed into the side of the ship, with the force of a bomb. The beautiful silver metal crumpled. The ship shook violently. Then the second one hit. Then the third. It was not a battle. It was a car crash. The heavy drone smashed through the delicate armor of the alien destroyer. One drone hit the engine. Another hit the bridge. Captain Vex screamed as the ceiling fell on him. He did not understand. These were not weapons. This was not how war was fought. You do not throw rocks at a spaceship. It was barbaric. It was crazy. The eternal glory began to fall. It burned as it fell through the thin atmosphere. It crashed into the surface of Vesta Prime, 10 miles away from the colony. A huge cloud of dust rose up. In the command center, the humans watched the fire. Silence filled the room again. It was a different kind of silence now. It was not fear. It was shock. They had just destroyed an advanced warship with mining tools. Paul Vance looked at his people. Mike, he said. Yes, Governor? Send a message to the other colonies, Paul said. Use the backup radio. It will take a long time to get there, but send it anyway. What should I say? Mike asked. Paul looked at the burning wreck in the distance. Tell them we are alive, Paul said. And tell them to wake up the factories. Tell them the dinner bell just rang. The room was quiet. The people of Vesta Prime looked at their governor. They realized something had changed. The galaxy thought humans were harmless. The galaxy thought humans were just merchants. But looking at the fire on the horizon, Paul knew the truth. Humans were patient. Humans were kind. But if you pushed them too far, they stopped being kind. The council had wanted a war. They had sent a ship to start one. Now they were going to get a war. But it wasn't going to be the kind of war they expected. Paul picked up a piece of his broken coffee cup. He placed it on the console. Get back to work, he said. We have a lot to do before the rest of them get here. 2 weeks had passed since the attack on Vesta Prime. The space around the planet Jupiter was usually quiet and dark. But now it was full of lights. The Galaxy Council had sent a fleet. It was not just one ship this time. It was 50 ships. They were sleek and shiny, made of gold and silver metal. They looked like jewelry floating in the black sky. They moved together in a perfect formation. They wanted the humans to see them. They wanted the humans to be afraid. Admiral Kate Lewis sat in the command chair of the USS Ironclad. The Ironclad was not a pretty ship. It was not sleek. It was a massive block of black steel. It looked like a flying brick. It had thick armor plates and very big engines. It did not glow. It sat in the shadow of Jupiter's moon, Europa, waiting. Kate looked at the screen. Her face was hard like stone. She was 55 years old. She had been in the Navy for 30 years. She had fought pirates and smugglers, but she had never fought aliens. On the bridge of the Ironclad, the crew was quiet. The air felt heavy. Everyone was angry. They had seen the video from Vesta Prime. They saw the mining drones smash the alien destroyer. They cheered when they saw that. But they also knew that thousands of people were trapped on the outer colonies. Ben Carter, the tactical officer, looked at his console. He was a young man with short hair. His hands were gripping the edge of his desk very tightly. Admiral, Ben said. His voice was tight. The alien fleet is moving forward. They are entering the red zone. Hold your fire, Kate said softly. Ben looked at her. But Admiral, they are in range. Our railguns are locked on. We can hit them. I said hold fire, Lieutenant, Kate said. Her voice did not change. We follow the rules. We do not shoot first. We wait. Ben shook his head, but he obeyed. He typed a command to keep the weapons on standby. The humans were playing a dangerous game. The Earth Federation had strict laws. They needed to prove to the galaxy that they were the victims. They needed every alien scanner to see that humans did not want this war. They had to be the shield, not the sword. At least for a little while longer. On the lead alien ship, Fleetmaster Rock laughed. He was a tall creature with blue skin and long fingers. He looked at the human ships on his scanner. Look at them, Rock said to his crew. They are hiding in the dark. Their ships are ugly. They are made of crude metal. They do not even have energy shields. A subordinate alien bowed. Master, should we destroy them? Not yet, Rock said. Let them watch us. Let them feel fear. We will take the moons of Jupiter first. Then we will take their Mars. Then we will take their Earth. They are too scared to fight back. See? They do not even turn on their targeting computers. They are frozen with terror. Rock felt very powerful. The council had told him that humans were soft. He believed it. He moved his fleet closer to the human line. He was testing them. He wanted to see them run away. Suddenly, a small ship appeared on the radar. It was not a warship. It was a civilian transport named the Starhopper. It was an old, rusty ship. It was trying to leave the war zone. It was carrying 4,000 refugees. These were families, children, and workers running away from the outer moons. The Starhopper hailed the alien fleet. Please do not shoot, the captain of the Starhopper said over the radio. We are civilians. We have no weapons. We are leaving. Fleet Master Rook heard the message. He smiled a cruel smile. They are weak, Rock said. In nature, the weak are eaten by the strong. Target that ship, Rock ordered. But Master, the alien gunner said. It is not a threat. It is just a transport. Target it, Rock shouted. Show the humans that we own this space. On the ironclad, an alarm beeped loudly. Admiral, Ben shouted. They are locking weapons on the civilian transport. Kate sat up straight. Hail them, she said. Tell them to stand down. We are trying, Admiral, the comms officer said. They are ignoring us. On the screen, a green beam of light shot out from the alien flagship. It flew across the darkness. It hit the Starhopper. There was no sound in space, but on the screen, the horror was silent and bright. The transport ship did not have armor. It did not have shields. The beam cut it in half, then the engines exploded. A bright ball of fire expanded and then vanished. 4,000 people were gone in 1 second. The bridge of the ironclad was dead silent. No one moved, no one breathed. They stared at the empty spot where the Starhopper had been. Ben Carter looked down at his desk. He was shaking. Kate Lewis closed her eyes. She took a long, deep breath. She let it out slowly. When she opened her eyes, the sadness was gone. There was only cold ice. Did we record that? Kate asked. Her voice was very quiet. Yes, Admiral, the comms officer said. The whole fleet saw it. The whole system saw it. Good, Kate said. Send the logs to Earth Command. She stood up from her chair. She smoothed out her uniform. She walked to the front of the bridge. She looked out the window at the shiny golden alien fleet. Lieutenant Carter, Kate said. Yes, Admiral? Do you remember the rules of engagement? She asked. Yes, Admiral. Rule 1, do not fire until fired upon. Rule 2, do not escalate unless civilians are threatened. And what is Rule 3? Kate asked. Ben looked up. His eyes were fierce. Rule 3, if the enemy targets civilians, all restrictions are lifted. Total war protocols are active. Kate nodded. Active the protocols, she said. Ben pressed a big red button on his console. All across the human fleet, lights turned from yellow to red. The hum of the engines changed. It got deeper and louder. Fleet Master Rock was watching the explosion of the transport ship. He felt proud. He waited for the human warships to turn around and run away. Master, his sensor officer shouted. The human ships, their energy reading is spiking. What? Rock asked. Are they running? No, Master. They are opening their gun ports. Rock laughed. Let them shoot. Their projectile weapons cannot hurt our shields. We are the Krell. We are invincible. On the ironclad, Kate Lewis did not give a big speech. She did not shout. She just looked at the enemy. Fire, she said. The human ships did not use lasers. They did not use plasma. They used physics. Inside the ironclad, giant magnetic rails powered up. They took a solid slug of tungsten. The slug was the size of a school bus. It weighed tons. The magnets accelerated the slug. It went faster and faster. When it left the barrel of the ship, it was moving at a fraction of the speed of light. It was a kinetic kill weapon. It did not burn. It smashed. 50 human ships fired at once. The slugs crossed the distance in a blink of an eye. The alien shields were designed to stop energy. They could stop a laser. They could stop heat. But they could not stop a 10-ton metal brick moving that fast. The first slug hit a Krell cruiser. It did not explode on the shield. It punched through the shield like a bullet going through paper. Then it hit the ship. The kinetic energy was so high that the alien ship didn't just break. It vaporized. The impact turned the metal into dust instantly. The ship simply ceased to exist. Fleet Master Rock saw his left flank disappear. He stood up in shock. Report, he screamed. What hit them? I don't know. The officer cried. It was too fast. Another volley of slugs hit. 3 more alien ships vanished. The beautiful gold armor shattered into a million pieces. Return fire. Rock yelled. The aliens fired their green lasers. The beams hit the USS Ironclad. The thick black armor of the human ship absorbed the heat. The armor got hot, but it did not break. The human ships were built to take a beating. They were built to last. Status? Kate asked. Armor holding at 90%, Ben said. Reload complete. Fire again. Kate said. The humans fired again. And again. It was a rhythm. Boom. Reload. Boom. Reload. It was not a graceful dance. It was a factory of death. It was efficient. It was brutal. In 3 minutes, the battle was over. 45 alien ships were gone. They were just clouds of dust floating near Jupiter. The remaining 5 ships were drifting, dark and broken. Fleetmaster Rock sat on the floor of his bridge. His ship was dead in the water. The lights were off. Sparks were flying from the ceiling. He could not believe it. The humans were savages. They fought like machines. On the ironclad, the silence returned. But it was not a heavy silence. It was the silence of a job finished. Ben Carter looked at the Admiral. Enemy fleet neutralized, Admiral. 5 ships disabled. The rest are dust. Kate sat back down in her chair. She looked at the debris field. She thought about the families on the Starhopper. She felt no joy. She only felt a grim satisfaction. Open a channel to the Council homeworld, Kate said. Use the high-power transmitter. Channel open. Admiral. Kate looked into the camera. She knew the High Exarch was watching. She knew the whole Galaxy Council was watching. This is Admiral Kate Lewis of the Earth Federation, she said. Her voice was calm, but it carried a warning that went deeper than fear. You attacked our home. You killed our civilians. You thought we were weak because we were quiet. She leaned forward. We invoke Article 5. The laws of limited warfare are gone. We are not just defending anymore. We are coming to you. And we will not stop until you have no ships left to send. She cut the feed. Kate stood up. Set a course for the enemy buffer zone, she ordered. The USS Ironclad turned its massive engines. The blue flames roared in the silence of space. The human fleet, ugly and terrifying, began to move away from Jupiter. They were leaving their home. They were going on the hunt. The sleeping giant was awake, and it was very, very angry. The war had been going on for 3 months. The Galaxy Council was confused. In the history of the galaxy, wars were slow. Usually 2 sides would meet. They would talk. They would fight a small battle. Then they would talk again. Building a fleet of warships took years. Training soldiers took a lifetime. The Council expected the humans to run out of ships very quickly. They expected the humans to get tired. But the humans did not get tired. On the Council homeworld, the High Exarch sat on his throne. He looked at his generals. They looked nervous. Why are they not stopping? The Exarch asked. We destroyed their fleet at Jupiter. We destroyed their mining bases. They should be empty. They should be hiding. A general stepped forward. He held a data pad. His hands were shaking. High Exarch, the general said. Our scouts have returned from the Sol sector. The humans are not hiding. Then, what are they doing? The Exarch asked. They are building, the general whispered. The Exarch laughed. Building? How many ships can they build in 3 months? 10? 20? The general showed a holographic image. It was a picture of the planet Mars. The red planet was covered in smoke. Thousands of lights were moving around it. They have built 5,000 ships, the general said. The room went silent. The Exarch stared at the image. That is impossible, he said. No one can build that fast. It takes a year to make the guidance computer for one of our ships. It takes 6 months to grow the crystal for the energy core. The humans do not use crystals, the general said. They do not make art, they make bricks. Look closer. The Exarch looked. The human ships were ugly. They were just big boxes of gray metal. They had no paint. They had no smooth lines. They looked like factories with engines strapped to the back. They were welded together quickly. They were rough. But there were thousands of them. It is an industrial monster, the general said. The humans stopped making cars. They stopped making phones. They stopped making toys. Every factory on every world is making weapons. They work day and night. They do not sleep. The Exarch felt a cold fear in his stomach. He realized the mistake. The Council fought for glory. The humans fought for survival. And humans were very good at making things. Commander Jack Ross sat in the pilot seat of his ship. His ship was named the Heavy Hammer. It was not a nice name, but it was a true name. The ship was huge. It had thick armor plates that looked like layers of rock. Jack was a simple man. Before the war, he drove a truck on Earth. Now, he drove a warship. It wasn't much different to him. You push the pedal, the machine goes forward. You hit the button, the machine does its job. He was leading the 7th Fleet. Behind him were 200 ships. They were flying toward a Council blockade. The aliens were guarding a gate to the inner systems. Jack picked up his radio. "All ships, listen up," he said. His voice was calm. "We are not here to dance. We are not here to look pretty. We are here to clear the road." The alien fleet was waiting for them. It was led by a famous Krell warrior named Commander Glax. Glax was proud. His ship was painted with scenes of his victories. He saw the human fleet approaching on his sensors. "They are ugly," Glax said to his crew. "They look like garbage scows. They have no shields. They have no elegance." Glax decided to use fear. The Council had a special weapon. They could hack into enemy screens and show terrifying images. They showed monsters eating people. They showed cities burning. It usually made the enemy soldiers cry and give up. "Activate the fear broadcast," Glax ordered. On the bridge of the Heavy Hammer, the screens flickered. Suddenly, a picture of a screaming alien beast appeared. It roared loudly. Jack Ross looked at the screen. He frowned. He looked at his communications officer, a young woman named Sarah. "What is that?" Jack asked. "I think they are trying to scare us, Commander," Sarah said. "It is a cartoon or something." Jack sighed. He rubbed his eyes. He was tired. He had been flying for 3 days straight. "Turn it off," Jack said. "It is annoying." Sarah pressed a button. The screen went black. Then she turned it back to the radar map. Fear broadcast failed. The alien officer reported to Commander Glax. "The humans just turned it off." Glax was angry. "They have no souls." He shouted. "Fine, we will destroy them with lasers. Fire at will." The alien ships fired. Green beams of light cut through the darkness. They hit the front of the Heavy Hammer. The thick armor sizzled. Metal melted. But the armor was 10 feet thick. The laser only burned the top layer. Report. Jack said. "Armor is at 98%, Sarah said. "It scratched the paint, if we had any paint." "Good," Jack said. Full speed ahead. The human fleet did not stop. They did not slow down to aim. They just accelerated. They moved like a stampede of bulls. Commander Glax watched the human ships get bigger and bigger. He waited for them to fire missiles. He waited for them to shoot guns. But they didn't shoot. "Why are they not firing?" Glax asked. "They are getting too close." Jack Ross watched the distance counter drop. 5 miles. 2 miles. 1 mile. "Brace for impact," Jack said to his crew. The crew of the Heavy Hammer grabbed onto their handles. They put on their crash helmets. They knew what was coming. The human tactic was simple. The alien ships were delicate. They relied on shields. If you hit the shield hard enough, the generator burned out. And then, you were just hitting a glass egg with a hammer. The Heavy Hammer smashed into the alien flagship. There was no sound in space, but the vibration shook the bones of everyone on board. The front of the human ship was designed for this. It was a solid wedge of steel. It cut through the energy shield. Then it cut through the gold hull of the alien ship. Commander Glax did not have time to scream. His ship was snapped in half. The 2 pieces spun away into the dark. Jack Ross shook his head as the lights on his bridge flickered. "Check for damage," he said. "We have a dent in the nose cone," Sarah said. "And the coffee machine is broken." "That is a shame," Jack said. "Keep moving." Next target. The battle became a massacre. The human ships were reckless. They did not care if they got hurt. They slammed into the enemy formation. It was like a wall of bricks falling on a collection of glass vases. The aliens panicked. They tried to fly away, but the human ships were everywhere. It was not a fight. It was work. It was a demolition job. On the Council homeworld, the High Exarch watched the reports come in. Every hour, another fleet was lost. Every hour, the human line moved closer. "They are not warriors," the Exarch whispered. "Warriors stop when they are wounded. Warriors retreat when the odds are bad." He looked at the image of the blocky gray ships. "They are machines," he said. "They are monsters of industry. We woke them up, and now they are going to crush us." Back on the Heavy Hammer, the battle was over. The space was filled with floating pieces of gold metal. The way forward was clear. Jack Ross leaned back in his chair. He looked at the stars ahead. "Fleet status?" he asked. "We lost 3 ships," Sarah said softly. 12 are damaged but can still fly. Jack nodded. It was a low cost. But he still felt sad for the 3 crews. He took a deep breath. "Tell the repair crews to get to work," Jack said. "We have 6 hours until we reach the next sector. I want that dent fixed. And someone fix my coffee machine." "Yes, Commander." The 7th Fleet moved on. They left the wreckage behind. They did not celebrate. They did not sing songs of victory. They just reloaded their guns, welded their armor patches, and continued the job. The galaxy was learning a hard lesson. Humans did not treat war like a sport. They treated it like a problem. And they were very efficient at solving problems. The industrial monsters of Earth were coming, and nothing in the galaxy could stop them. The war had lasted for 4 months. In the long history of the Galaxy Council, a 4-month war was a blink of an eye. Usually, wars took decades. But this was not a normal war. It was a landslide. The humans did not stop to capture planets. They did not land soldiers to put up flags. They did not take prisoners to work in mines. They simply moved forward. If they saw a military base, they destroyed it. If they saw a shipyard, they smashed it. If they saw a weapon factory, they turned it into dust. Then, they moved to the next target. On the Council homeworld, the sky was usually a beautiful shade of purple. Now it was full of smoke from distant battles. The High Exarch sat in his palace. The palace was called the Glass Garden. It was made of crystal and light. It was the most beautiful building in the galaxy. But now, it felt like a cage. The Exarch looked at his communication screen. It was full of messages from other alien leaders. They were all screaming, "Help us." One leader cried, "The humans just destroyed our main fleet. They didn't even slow down. Make them stop." Another shouted, "We offered them money. We offered them slaves. They did not answer. They just kept shooting." The High Exarch turned off the screen. His hands were shaking. He had tried to call the human leaders. He sent messages to Earth. He sent messages to the human fleets. He offered a ceasefire. He offered to give back the Vesta colony. He offered to give them the whole sector, but the humans did not pick up the phone. They were on silence. It was the most terrifying thing the Exarch had ever experienced. When an enemy screams at you, you know what they want. When an enemy is silent, you know they just want you gone. Suddenly, the heavy doors of the throne room opened. The guards did not stop the person walking in. They were too scared. A human woman walked into the Glass Garden. Her name was Alice Moore. Alice was not a soldier. She was a diplomat. Before the war, she lived on the Council world. She was the person who tried to talk about trade and peace. The Council used to laugh at her. They made her wait in the hallway for hours. They called her the pet from the dirt world. Now she walked down the long crystal hall. She wore a black suit. She carried a briefcase. Her shoes made a loud clicking sound on the floor. Click, click. The High Exarch stood up. He looked at her with wide eyes. She was the only human who would talk to them, Ambassador Moore. The Exarch said. He sounded desperate. "Thank the stars. Please, you must stop this. Your ships are destroying everything. We surrender. Do you hear me? We surrender." Alice stopped in front of the throne. She did not bow. She did not smile. She looked at the Exarch like a teacher looking at a very bad student. "I heard you, High Exarch," Alice said. Her voice was calm. "Then tell them to stop." The Exarch pleaded. "We will give you anything. Do you want the trade routes? They are yours. Do you want gold? We have mountains of it. We admit defeat. The war is over." Alice placed her briefcase on a small table. She opened it slowly. She took out a paper. It was not a treaty. It was a map. "The war is not over, Exarch," Alice said. "What do you mean?" The Exarch asked. He was sweating. "We surrendered. That is the rule. When one side gives up, the fighting stops. That is how civilized people fight." Alice looked around the beautiful room. She looked at the delicate glass flowers and the fountains of light. "That is your mistake," Alice said. "You think this is a game. You think war is a tool you use to get what you want. You start a war, you win some points, and then you stop." She looked him in the eye. "Humans do not think that way," she said. "To us, war is not a game. It is a failure. It means that talking failed. It means that reason failed. It means that we have to act like animals to survive. And we hate acting like animals." The Exarch stepped back. He was afraid of this small woman. "So, when we are forced to fight," Alice continued, "we do not play for points. We do not fight for honor. We fight to remove the problem. We fight so that we never have to fight again." She pointed to the map. It showed the Council's military bases. All of them were crossed out with red lines. "You attacked us," Alice said. "You killed our children on the Starhopper. You burned our homes. You proved that you are dangerous. You prove that you cannot be trusted with weapons. So what will you do? The Exarch whispered. Will you kill us all? No, Alice said. We are not monsters. We do not kill civilians. We do not want your planets. We have plenty of planets. We do not want your slaves. We do not believe in slavery. Then what? The Exarch cried. We are going to break your sword, Alice said. She pressed a button on the table. A hologram appeared. It showed the sky above the council world. The clouds parted. A massive shadow fell over the city. A ship was coming down. It was not a destroyer. It was not a battleship. It was a platform the size of a city. On the side, painted in white letters, were the words, Earth Federation Engineering Corps. Behind it, thousands of human warships waited. They were the Third Fleet. They were fresh. They had not even fired a shot yet. The Exarch fell to his knees. What are they going to do? He asked. Alice closed her briefcase. They are going to land, she said. They are going to go to every military base, every shipyard, and every weapons factory you have. And they are going to take them apart. Bolt by bolt. Wire by wire. She started to walk away. We are not here to rule you, High Exarch, she said over her shoulder. We are here to make sure you can never hurt anyone ever again. You wanted a war with humans. Well, you got one. And now, we are going to finish it. The Exarch watched the massive human ship descend. It blocked out the sun. The beautiful purple light of the glass garden turned gray. He realized then that he had made a terrible error. He thought humans were weak because they were gentle. He did not know that the gentle man is the most dangerous man when he is angry. The council had woken up a mechanic, not a warrior. And the mechanic was here to fix the broken machine of the galaxy. Whether the council liked it or not. Alice stopped at the door. One more thing, she said. The Exarch looked up. Do not try to stop them, she said. They are on a schedule. And they hate being late. She walked out. The doors closed. The High Exarch was left alone in the dark, listening to the sound of human landing thrusters shaking his crystal palace. The war was over, but the humiliation was just beginning. The humans were not going to kill them. They were going to do something much worse. They were going to make the council harmless. The Third Fleet arrived in the sky above the council homeworld. It was not a noisy arrival. There were no explosions. There were no speeches. The sky just turned dark because there were so many ships. The citizens of the capital city hid in their basements. They held their children close. They had heard stories about war. In their history, when a conqueror arrived, they burned the city. They took the gold. They took the people as slaves. The aliens waited for the fire to start. But the fire did not start. Instead, thousands of small shuttles flew down from the big ships. They landed in the military spaceports. They landed in the army bases. They landed next to the weapon factories. Big metal ramps opened. Men and women walked out. They were not running and screaming. They were walking in lines. They wore orange vests over their uniforms. They carried toolboxes, heavy cutters, and welding machines. A young alien named Zog watched from a window. He was scared, but he was also curious. He saw a group of humans walk up to a giant laser cannon. The cannon was the pride of the city. It was made of gold and crystal. Zog thought the humans would blow it up. Instead, a human man named Tom climbed up the side of the cannon. He looked at the crystal lens. He took out a wrench. He started to unscrew the bolts. Hey, Steve, Tom yelled to another human. Pass me the hydro spanner. This bolt is rusty. The other human threw him a tool. They were not destroying the city. They were taking it apart. Down in the palace, the High Exarch was sitting in a chair. He looked very old now. He watched a screen showing his fleet being dismantled. Alice Moore stood next to him. They are not killing anyone, the Exarch said softly. I do not understand. Why are they not looting? Why are they not celebrating? Because the job is not done, Alice said. A report came in on the screen. A human commander was talking. Sector 4 is clear, the commander said. We have removed all warp drives from the Krull warships. We are melting down the gun barrels now. Estimated time to finish is 3 days. Excellent, Alice said. Keep the recycling plants running. We don't want to leave a mess. The Exarch looked at her. Recycling? Yes, Alice said. Metal is valuable. We will melt your guns and turn them into building beams. You will need them to fix the houses we damaged during the war. The Exarch was shocked. You are giving the metal back to us? Alice nodded. We don't need your metal. We have plenty of rocks in space. We just want to make sure this metal can never hurt a human again. Weeks passed. The work continued. It was boring work. It was loud work. The sound of saws and drills filled the air from morning until night. The humans were very efficient. They had a list. Every weapon on the planet was on that list. When they found the weapon, they crossed it off. They did not miss a single pistol. They did not miss a single grenade. Zog, the young alien, finally went outside. He walked to the edge of the spaceport. A human soldier was standing guard. He was holding a rifle, but it was pointed at the ground. He looked tired. He was eating a sandwich. Zog stood there shaking. The human looked at him. The human smiled. It was not a mean smile. "Hey there, little guy," the human said. Zog did not understand the words, but the tone was nice. The human reached into his pocket. He pulled out a small bar wrapped in foil. It was chocolate. He threw it to Zog. Zog caught it. He sniffed it. It smelled sweet. "Don't worry," the human said. "We are almost done. Then we will get out of your hair." Zog realized something then. The humans were not monsters. They were just people doing a job. They did not hate the aliens. They just wanted to go home. Finally, the last day came. Governor Paul Vance arrived on a shuttle. He walked through the streets of the alien capital. He saw the piles of scrap metal where the tanks used to be. He saw the empty launch pads where the missiles used to be. He walked into the palace. The High Exarch was waiting for him. "Governor Vance," the Exarch said. "I expected you sooner. I was busy," Paul said. "I had to make sure my miners were safe. Is it over?" The Exarch asked. Paul looked at a datapad in his hand. "We have removed 90% of your fleet," Paul said. "We have destroyed all your long-range weapons. We have taken apart your military academies. You have no navy. You have no army. You have a police force to stop criminals, but you cannot fight a war. So we are defenseless." The Exarch said bitterly. "No," Paul said. "You are safe. Because now you are not a threat. No one attacks a harmless planet. And if someone tries to bully you, you can call us." The Exarch looked surprised. "You would protect us?" Paul shrugged. "We protect the peace. If someone breaks the peace, we fix the problem. It does not matter who started it." Paul turned to leave. "Wait," the Exarch said. Paul stopped. "Why?" the Exarch asked. "Why did you not take our empire? You could have ruled the galaxy. You are stronger than anyone." Paul smiled. It was the tired smile of a man who just wanted a cup of coffee. "We don't want to rule the galaxy," Paul said. "It sounds like a lot of paperwork. We have our own lives. We have gardens to tend. We have books to read. We have families to love." He looked the Exarch in the eye. "Ruling people is hard work," Paul said. "Fighting wars is hard work. We prefer the quiet." Paul walked out of the palace. He walked back to his shuttle. The order was given. The humans packed up their tools. They picked up their orange vests. They marched back into their ships. The engines roared. The dust rose up. The Third Fleet, the most powerful force the galaxy had ever seen, lifted off the ground. They did not leave a garrison. They did not leave a flag. They just left. As they flew away, the sky turned purple again. The sun shone on the capital city. It was quiet. Zog sat on a wall and ate his chocolate. He watched the ships disappear into the stars. The galaxy was different now. The other alien races had watched the war. They saw what happened to the council. They saw that the humans did not fight for glory. They fought to end the fight. They learned a very important lesson. If you poke a sleeping bear, it might wake up and eat you. But if you poke a sleeping human, they will wake up, take away your stick. Break the stick into small pieces, clean up the mess, and then go back to sleep. And they will make sure you never find another stick again. The council learned, too late, that humans don't fight wars to win medals. They don't fight wars to write songs. They look at war like a broken pipe in a house. It is a mess. It is loud. It leaks. So they come in with their heavy tools. They fix the leak. They remove the broken parts. And when the water stops spraying, they wipe their hands and go home. The galaxy was safe now. Not because of a treaty. Not because of fear. But because everyone knew the truth. The humans were out there. They were mining their rocks. They were farming their land. They were happy, and everyone knew, deep down in their hearts, that it was a very good idea to let them stay happy. The silence of the galaxy was not empty anymore. It was peaceful. And for the first time in 1,000 years, the stars looked friendly. The war was over. The humans had ended it. and they had ended it for good.